What is going on, Hive Warriors? So today we're going to quickly look at a meta-analysis of intermittent fasting showing that with even over 1,000 different studies that were used, that the results show that there was benefits to using intermittent fasting versus just caloric restriction. Remember, the keyword is just caloric restriction because you still have to apply caloric restriction for intermittent fasting to be successful when it comes to weight loss. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so here we have it from the Journal of Clinical Medicine by Yongging Cho and colleagues, right? And this is the effectiveness of intermittent fasting to reduce body mass index and glucose metabolism, a systematic review and meta-analysis. If you look at the pyramid of scientific data, the thing that sits at the top is meta-analysis. That's better than individual studies. Now, a randomized controlled design is one of the best, it is the best study design that you can have. And this is a meta-analysis that includes randomized controlled trials. So that makes it even better because you could look at somebody losing weight just with intermittent fasting without a control. So you don't know, you just have the intervention group. You don't have anything to measure it up against. So you could see something positive happening, but you don't know if that positive will be different as compared to caloric restriction. Here, no, they meta-analysis with randomized controlled trials, right? So we're gonna go ahead and skip. I'm gonna basically we can look at the abstract here, or actually we can go all the way to the conclusion first before we start looking deeper into it. Let's go. I'm doing this without any editing, guys. So let me go in quickly here. In conclusion, let's look at this right here real quick. In conclusion, hit that with the highlighter. In conclusion, IF significantly improves glycemic control and insulin resistance with a reduction in BMI and decrease in leptin levels. A decrease in leptin level and an increase in adiponectin concentration in general population without chronic metabolic disease. So that they're adding that because they did this with healthy individuals that didn't have chronic metabolic disease. Science and biology is very vast and very complicated. So you have to put forth that information because somebody with chronic metabolic disease may not fit into what you see here because these people are all healthy and don't have any chronic metabolic diseases, right? So we're going up here real quick. We're just gonna take a quick look at this, but in this you'll see, right? Let's see here, maybe you guys can see it, but in this you'll see 2,814 references for screening. And then because of duplicates, 1,216 were removed. Then 1,598 studies were screened then. 1,097 studies excluded after screening the titles and abstract because it was either not an IF study, not an original article, not human. So they used rodents and stuff. They wanted just human studies. Abstract was not available or not in English, right? Then it brought it down to 501 different studies assessed for full text eligibility. Eligibility. 491 studies excluded after screening the titles and abstract, wrong population, 2 studies added while previous article review. So we ended up with 12 different studies. So it's a meta-analysis of 12 different studies as opposed to just one study as what we were looking at last week, right? So it's 12 different studies and you see the differences here. You can see the differences that are shown here, showing the fasting time, the calorie reduction from baseline, the control, and the control detail, right? And then you see here the reduction in all of the different diets with ADF, which is alternate day fasting, alternate day modified fasting, alternate day modified fasting, plus EX. I don't remember what EX was, but that ADMF is alternate day modified fasting. TRF is time restricted feeding, and you see the reduction here, right here, and this is the control group. So notice that the weight loss, right, is heavily in the favor of ADF. So This is the line that separates the two. This favors the control, this favors the intervention. As you see the line moving over here, that is the weight reduction that we're seeing within the group. Yeah, there are some times where you see that the weight reduction is in the favor of the control group being the caloric restriction group or the regular diet group like you see here, as opposed to the intermittent fasting group, which is alternate day fasting or time restricted feeding. But mostly you see that it's more in favor of the intervention group. And this line just is for the statistical variance of how far it could be anywhere. It's more than likely here statistically, but it could be as far as here or as far as here, right? But with the dot where the center of the dot lies, that's more than likely what they got from all of this. And then this is the subtotal where it is landing right here. This is the subtotal where it shows that it's landing right here. And they put all of these different things together. This is before, right? Before, this is post, after. And notice the shifts of all of these lines moving more towards the intermittent fasting group, in the intermittent fasting group's favor. Now, one thing that should be taken into account that we should make sure that we point out is that it is not 1 year. It's not 1 year at all. It is a variation of many different. For example, this is duration in weeks. We got 24, 8, 12, 8, 12, 12, 12, 4, 4, 12, 24, 8, 12, right? So it's very short, but it's still within that short time frame. In a meta-analysis, which is data being synthesized of multiple different studies, we're looking at a benefit or a favor. It's being favored for the intervention group, which is the intermittent fasting group, versus regular dieting or caloric restriction. So I'm going to end it here because we could talk about the whole thing, and you still see it even here with all of the different other further data, effectiveness in intermittent fasting and glycemic control. Is all with the glucose fasting. Blood glucose is still in the benefit of intermittent fasting, in the favor right here as well, in the favor of intermittent fasting. And it's like, here, and then further goes into being in favor for intermittent fasting. Same thing here, further goes into being in favor for intermittent fasting. But the whole point that I'm trying to say is that a lot of people are very kind of flustered by that previous article, which we broke down and we looked at it deeper, and we saw the data, and we saw that with a regression formula, there's an exponential separation that's happening in favor of the intermittent fasting group almost in every single category, which is crazy. But they don't talk about that because it's so similar. The numbers are so close, and it is not statistically significant. Therefore, they're just going to title it and word it that way without giving you the meat of the data, the numbers, right? But here we see, with a meta-analysis, with a control design, with all those studies being control design, that the benefit lied with intermittent fasting. Now, remember, I am not saying that intermittent fasting is better than caloric restriction. You have to have caloric restriction. Intermittent fasting and caloric restriction provide a special benefit to it that you don't just get with caloric restriction based off of these studies. Now, we don't 100% know still, because science is not a one and done. It's still evolving. There's over 50,000 different studies on intermittent fasting. We're still learning more and more. As time goes by, the answer will become clearer and clearer. But right now, there is data to suggest that there is benefit that you see with intermittent fasting as opposed to just doing caloric restriction. That the element of intermittent fasting also provides additional assistance with things like improving fat loss, considering the fact that ketones are produced via your liver, and that energy and that from the beta hydroxybutyrate process that comes from the fat cells, that actually comes from the fat cells, shooting out the triglycerides, shooting out the fatty acids, and transitioning that into ketones to replace the glucose that was depleted when you were doing intermittent fasting. So we know that there's things like that that are there. Insulin sensitivity increases there as well, because you're not constantly bombarding your insulin throughout the day, and it's not spiking up and going down, spiking up and going down. So we know that there are things that come with it. There are things that come with intermittent fasting that can help you. So that's the reason why I wanted to do this video, to just like a juxtaposition of the last video, even though we kind of talked about the last video, kind of explained that one already. But if you took anything from any of these videos, the bare minimum, even if you wanted to be cynical and not go all the way to say, hey, look, I do see a difference here and I do see some positive benefits with intermittent fasting. The one thing you definitely can't come away from that last study saying is that intermittent fasting is bad for you, because that last study, bare minimum, if we went bare minimum, if intermittent fasting is something that you love to do and is comfortable for you, it shows that there's no difference or very similar to caloric restriction. Even with lean mass is not reducing aggressively with intermittent fasting, just because you're not eating all the time, as opposed to caloric restriction. All right. So anyways, that is it. Patrons will be pinned down in the comment section below. Link to the Lumen if you haven't gotten yours. It's a device, respiratory exchange ratio device, little small device that if you breathe into it, actually could tell you if you're burning carbs or if you're burning fat. If you're doing intermittent fasting, going to sleep fasting, and you wake up burning carbs, it could be that you are going through a process called glucose neogenesis, where your body is breaking down muscle tissues to actually provide you with glucose. You don't want that. So everyone's different. There's outliers even in these studies. For example, there's outliers. So if for you 24 hours is too much, you got to reduce it. But how would you know that? Because it's so below the just noticeable difference. You could be going through 6 months not being efficient at your weight loss. I implore you guys, use the promo code Fledge Fitness 50, get $50 off your Lumen device. Click it down there. It's in the description box. It will 100% help you understand what your sweet spot is for fasting. And you can constantly check it all the time to make sure that you're not over fasting at any point. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.